is up, you guys? We are back and better than ever. No Apologies, the podcast, where we give you the raw, the real, and how we feel. We are your hosts. My name is Mo.
My name is Casey.
Let's get into it. I know we haven't posted a podcast in a hot minute, but if you are following us on our social media platforms, then you know we've been working on some hot fire.
A few things have happened. I want to first thank everybody who watched and commented on the reparations debate or discussion with Gregory Hoyt on the breakdown. And I want to announce that starting the first week of February, Better Benefield will be on the radio show. So we'll be able to, and we're going to have Square Vision come in and film every radio broadcast. That way, those that are not in cities that actually get the radio station, you'll still be able to see and participate in the radio station discussions.
All right, so we could give a little detail. Like I said, if you've been following us on our social media platforms, you know we've been doing a lot of things God has in store, and we are pursuing our purpose out here. But Square Visions is our media team in which we are so glad and so blessed to join. They have been really pushing out some heat, and we got a lot of things coming. If you haven't seen on Facebook, Casey will actually be a host on Enlightening the Mind, which is going to be on an AM station here on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Once we get everything situated, I'll have all the details in the description box below. It's going to be DC 1220, which is the AM station. KLDC is that station. But we, like I said, Sunday mornings, and we are taking over Black History Month, doing Black people things, having Black discussions. But also, if you have not looked at our YouTube channel, if you have not checked us out on our social media platforms, we are slowly taking over TikTok. We are trying to unite the nations, regardless of your state, regardless of your country, regardless of your nationality. Get on board. We have the Black Girl Follow Train, but we're just trying to follow each other. Even if you skin folk, you know you kin folk, okay? But also, let's get into the actual news and the meat of the situation. Now, if you've been a true Better Benefield subscriber, you know when we went on our honeymoon in Florida, Ron DeSantis, we gave him his props for how he handled COVID. I don't know if I need to take some of my claps a little back, because he is definitely on a whirlwind of destruction in my eyes. If you haven't followed, Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has a rejection on the Advanced Placement African American Studies, said it's pushing an agenda.
Yeah, this is another debate we're probably going to discuss on the radio show, because it comes back to the same thing. They're making this narrative that somehow Black American history is not American history, as if Black Americans aren't Americans. And every time you attempt to talk about what happened in the past, it's being deemed critical race theory, and it's being removed from schools. If it's left up to Ron DeSantis, anything with a Black person, he's gonna burn the book. That's just the Bible, everything. Like Ron DeSantis right now is literally attempting to remove Black people from history. There's no fight in the Republican Party for the AP Spanish, German, or Italian courses. The only thing that's being attacked is the AP African American courses. And again, they're teaching what happened in this country. That's what the courses are about. I'm not sure why that would have an agenda that would have to be removed from a curriculum where children aren't able to learn about history. A great deal of people reached out to me and asked me about the actual Field Order 15, which we talked about in the reparations debate, where it states on January 16th, 1865, the United States general really told Lincoln that, hey, the only way this is going to work is if we give them reparations. Long story short, short story long, that seems like something we should have been taught. It's not like I found some secret book. They knew it and chose not to teach it. So you have to ask yourself, they'll tell us about Davy Crockett, they'll tell us about Little Bighorn, they'll tell us about Crazy Horse, they'll tell us about all of this, but the things that matter when it comes to us is not being taught and can't be taught.
And going back to the curriculum, one thing we learned about is the manifest destiny, the Trail of Tears, and how quote unquote the pilgrims came to America. Well, my thing is this: when are we going to move past that and move into what happened after industrialism? When are we going to talk about who really built the White House, why it's called the White House? When are we actually going to talk about the fundamental background of America if we're talking about American history, quote unquote? My biggest my biggest ick with DeSantis is the fact that he's already made woke statements. He's already made some pretty anti-black motive moves, and this is one of the biggest ones that's really getting under my skin, because you can teach all of these other ethnicities and these languages, but yet you won't push the book as far as American history. So what are we really learning? What are the regular classes learning if the advanced placement can't even get the true American history?
Uh, he is pushing the book. He's pushing the book in the pit of fire. The man just wants to burn all the books. The thing that is troubling is, as black people and as brown people and as white people who want to see the change that needs to be brought in this country, I am of the guys now that I don't know what else we can do and who we can actually trust. So Joe Biden, who was supposed to be better than 45, has, of course, he's been caught with, now there's classified documents at his house, classified documents at Pence's house, and Hillary couldn't be president because they said she tore some emails. That aside, Joe Biden just pledged $55 billion to the country of Africa, Uganda, in front of the African leaders, saying, and I quote, that America's original sin was slavery. So let's be clear. Biden is paying the country that, in all intents and purposes, went into business with this country with some form of slavery. Not the slaves. So the original sin was the other side of the slave trade, not the actual slaves. So my question to black people is, maybe this isn't our country because they keep seeing us as non-Americans. Maybe we should find somewhere else to go. 5 black cops in Memphis killed a young black motorist. May God rest his soul and the prayers to his family. But they fired these 5 cops immediately. There was no paid leave, no suspension, no investigation, none of that. All 5 did it, all 5 fired. What was the difference between these 5 cops and the other cops? All 5 were black. Let's call it what it is. We're not being treated as equals in this country. We are still, in the eyes of those that are in power, a second-class citizen. And I don't have all the answers.
As far as when Joe said the original sin was slavery, my thing is, if the original sin is bondage, what about redlining, Jim Crow, and white privilege? Because
That's gotta be the second sin.
everything is given, everyone else is given an advantage, but we're given debt with no assistance and only disadvantages. So if you're willing to pledge that much money to Africa on the heels of sending all this money to the Ukraine, when are you going to help the actual citizens of America, unless you don't believe we're citizens? And my biggest gripe is with Kamala, because she sat there and allowed this to take place after they mocked Joe after this move. There's still nothing being done in the U.S. Yes, Newsom is doing his so-called part, but I mean, what is that on the grounds of? Because unless this is a national matter and they see it as an American problem, we're never going to get in a solution.
See, you just said something that I keep harping. It is not. The citizenship doesn't matter because they're doing stuff for non-U.S. citizens that they won't do for Americans. The citizenship doesn't matter. It is going back to when they thought we were 3/5 of a human, that we weren't people. And that's the problem. There's a speech that I was watching today of Martin Luther King Jr. And I think it was in 64, 65, he was doing this interview. And he said that they freed the slaves in 1865. And the United States didn't give the slaves anything. But all of the West Coast and Midwest, they was passing out to the European peasants so that they could be okay. We've been asking them to do the right thing for almost 200 years after they mistreated us for 4.
Listen, I as far as mistreatment goes, the so-called laws that they have in place to prove justice and injustice. Backtracking back to Ron DeSantis, he's calling to the end of jury be unanimous for everyone to agree. For the death penalty, suggests that there should be a supermajority. So, in layman terms, basically, he's saying instead of everyone having to say, "Yeah, we should kill him," it should be, "Oh, if there's 50 people in the room, as long as 40 something say yeah, then someone can die." He's just basically trying to take away the death penalty rule that they had in place.
I don't have a problem with that.
Excuse me?
Not at all. I'm going to tell you why. The Boston Marathon bomber, who has a Z in his last name, who was I want to say Czechoslovakian, or he was non-Caucasian, blew up the Boston Marathon, killed 3 people. It took the white jury 22 minutes to give him the death penalty. The little white boy out here in Colorado who went to the movie theater and killed 19 people. They were deadlocked 12-1 to give him the death penalty, and now he's going to live the rest of his life when 19 people's families will not have their loved ones. See, I keep telling people about how justice really works. When we black and brown people go on trial, the jury cannot relate to us. But when the white guy who did something heinous goes on trial, the jury, no matter what gender, sits there and says, "I can see my brother, I can see my son, I can see my father." The women say, "I can see my brother, I can see my son, I can see my grandson." We are not afforded that. So make no mistake about it. They're going to charge more black people with the death penalty. That's going to happen. But they've been killing us anyway. Some of us don't even get to court and get the death penalty. But now, when one of theirs has done something, that white guy's in Colorado, he's going to live to a ripe old age. He shot a bunch of innocents. So this is just one of those things that you and I, and it's a healthy debate. It's a healthy debate. I know that you're looking at it saying, and I agree with you, they're going to give more black people the death penalty. But this is what I know about the court system. They don't have to worry about it being unanimous. It's always unanimous when it's us. Always. So this is going to be one of those laws that's going to backfire. Because there's going to be a lot of white people on death row that's going to get killed. It's not going to be unanimous. It's going to be one person. It's like how it is now in the real world. All white people are not bad. All white people are not racist. Just like all black people are not good. We just saw 5 black cops kill a black man, just like it was 5 white cops. Not one brother said, "Hey, man, we need to stop." 5 black men standing there and killed a black man. And not one of them says, "Hey, stop." So there's bad black people too. But there is white people that's going to be sitting on those white juries and say, y'all not changing my mind. That dude need to die for what he did. I'm okay with that.
Well, that took the words out of my mouth. I mean, because that, like you said, you touched on my main concern of the taking away the penalty rule would just basically solidify a lot of black death.
They killed Turkey. Kamala Harris. They killed Turkey. The man won a Pulitzer Prize with children's books. You talking about a man who had the power from San Quentin and then Pelican Bay. The man that had the power that could actually stop the gang war when OG still mattered. And the guy who worked out with him on Venice Beach, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and our vice president, Kamala Harris, killed him after winning a Pulitzer Prize for a children's book and turned his life around. No, this law ain't gonna help us. What this law is gonna do is gonna kill some more white folks.
You truly just took the words out of my mouth. But moving on from Florida, we're going to move on to New York. Representative George Santos, not to be confused with Ron DeSantis in Florida, but New York Representative George Santos. If you have not been paying attention at all, in the last, I want to say, 4 to 5 days, Santos has been under fire. He's been the head of tabloids lately. He's actually being pushed to resign after nearly half of the Republicans agreed on the Siena poll, along with most Democrats, that he should resign due to his history coming back up. So Representative Santos, back in his heyday, quote unquote, was having fun at a festival when he dressed up in drag.
Yeah, well, that's just part of the problem. They're not getting rid of. They're not asking him to resign because of his drag thing. Is he lied about everything?
Yeah, I was bringing that up.
Yeah, well, it's not what he did. Is he didn't do anything and lied about everything, from the school he went to everything. Like, his resume is a complete lie.
So this drag thing is just the icing on the cake.
Well, no, I mean, it depends. It depends how you look on it, because George DeSantis said he was gay. He came out and said he was a homosexual.
Oh, he had a husband.
But he had a wife.
Mm.
Then he got a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, him being in drag was not. He was supposed to be, like I told you. For every superhero, the villain comes from the same place. So, George Santos is supposed to be the Republican version, like Pete Buttigieg. He's supposed to be the liberal homosexual that is going to collect the vote from the homosexuals. The LGBTQ community loves me, this, that, and other. But there's no evidence of him even being gay.
Well, I don't know about the love of the alphabets, but he is definitely going tit for tat. So as of, I want to say 11 hours ago, he was actually on Twitter going back and forth with Miss Trixie, who is actually a RuPaul Drag Race alum. He was on Twitter going back and forth for a headline, basically talking about a weak performance, because they're basically doing impersonations of him. And he said it was poor acting, and I'm not an actor. I had fun at a festival. Well, basically did a little girl thing and posted her impersonation of RuPaul, which almost got her terminated from the Drag Race altogether. I just feel like it's a messy girl talk for him to be a representative of the state, honestly. But another thing that's going under fire, amongst all the other lies, and then this claim of drag that he said was categorically false, now he's saying he was just having fun. This is on the heels of the Twitter that they are investigating $700,000 in campaign funds that he's saying he did not personally give to himself. But that story is still developing. That was literally 2 hours ago.
Yeah, like I said, this is why I don't know whose side anyone is on, because any research by the Democrats would have seen the lies that he told me. Wouldn't he be talking about this dude? The Republicans nominated him twice, so I mean, I don't know if they're gonna make him resign. I doubt that, with the House being as close as it is, that McCarthy will force him out, and he surely doesn't seem like he's about to leave. So, I mean, McConnell doesn't back him at all. But that's the thing, though. Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker of the House. So, I mean, McConnell, Moscow Mitch, they don't have anything to do with the dude. It's going to be up to McCarthy saying, "Hey, leave," and that's never going to happen.
Well, yeah, but just in a general poll at the House, over nearly half of the Republicans have agreed that he should try to resign. But moving on to, I know, there was a lot of Facebook commotion about when Sanders left old primetime, headed up this way to Colorado. And we were talking about who's swag and who's not swag. Well, listen, if you haven't heard about Bethune-Cookman, as of late, Ed Reed was said to be the new head coach there. Things have taken quite a turn.
Yeah, that's the question of the week. Where are you, SWAC gatekeepers? When Dion did it, you guys had, and let me start by saying I am not a Coach Prime supporter after the way he responded to the Colin Kaepernick and the national anthem. I am not for Coach Prime. I just believe that what Coach Prime did, that any coach would have done because he was underpaid. He brought a lot to the SWAC, a lot of viewership. Like I said, game day showed up at Jackson State University. That's probably never going to happen again. Sorry, Jackson State. But what are you guys saying now? Because Ed Reed said that the facilities at Bethune-Cookman, Division I, said that they have the facilities of a high school football team that loses. Not that wins, that loses. Now the track team's coming out saying they've actually won championships and they don't even have a track to run on. And the one thing Ed Reed said, and let's be honest, Ed Reed is not some dude looking for money or clout, none of that. Ed Reed arguably is the second best free safety to ever play the game of football. Ever. Like, if you want to tell me Ronnie Lott is better, I'll listen. I won't argue with you. I mean, the man cut his finger off at the sideline. I won't argue with you. But Ed Reed is top 3 all time. He doesn't need the money. He wanted to help the kids. He had his nephew transfer there. And then they said he had 19-something buildings on campus filled with trash. He helped clean up trash and said that he was in bed with the devil because they were stealing money from these schools. So where is the SWAC protectors at now? Because you guys was all over Dion. Why are you guys not all over Bethune-Cookman? It's been real quiet on Facebook. I want everybody from my wife's school has something to say about Jackson State's coach. So I want to know why is it so quiet that no one is talking about Bethune-Cookman? Somebody should be saying something about them stealing money. Somebody should be saying something. Facebook been real quiet. You guys been real quiet. You guys ran Dion out of town.
Well, my thing is, I already know it's going to be a lot of backtracking for those that support Ed Reed. It's going to be more so of, I didn't say Dion. I said Dion wasn't SWAC because of how he treated us when they left. Because he really told the boys, hey, I'm leaving and going to Colorado the night of their big game. I feel like that could have been handled differently. I still say that could be handled differently.
You was not SWAC? You was not SWAC? Having your football team going up against Grambling, Southern, Jackson State, all these schools that actually have college facilities, and you are working out with the same gear that Mr. T had in Rocky 3.
Listen, if you don't know, Casey is having a field day with the situation as far as when it comes to SWAC.
No, I'm really mad about it because I'm really not having a feel. I'm really mad about it because I fully expected everybody. See, this is what I'm talking about. When Penn State was doing terrible things to autistic children, and Joe Paterno was there, and they fired everybody, and Joe Paterno tried to say he didn't know anything about this, and the whole country should have been in outrage. It should have just been and Penn State got their scholarships back before USC, and Reggie Bush only got his mother's rent paid by USC. So everybody should be mad about this. They jumped on Prime. I don't care if you feel he should have left. He left the wrong way. They had a take on it. Why is everybody so silent with Bethune-Cookman? That's my question. I'm not asking you to somebody should be saying, hey, where's the money, man? He was talking about the board of trustees, where this school literally almost was decredited a couple years ago. Where's the money, man? I want the SWAC people. Where's that money, man?
And I really do understand it, because if you haven't seen, it's on YouTube. Just look up Ed Reed. But he gave a really goosebump giving, bone chilling spiel, and you could tell the emotion in his voice, because he really cares about students and the livelihood of his team. He brought his nephew with him. That's just like Dion brought his sons. My thing is, when you're truly invested, you try to get everybody involved. And I don't even say ink dried. He didn't even get to sign the contract, and they're already saying we got to let him go. Yes, he's on social media. Yes, he said that the school is trash. That's because they got actual buildings filled with trash. And my thing is with Ed Reed, one thing about it, when you know there's a difference between somebody that's there for the money and educators. This man is an educator. And to for a HBCU that's so proud as it is, because some people say the illustrious, like we do, if you know, you know, for our universities, and the track team doesn't even have proper equipment for you to be a D1 school, and for a big name such as Ed Reed to come and coach the kids, y'all do not. He's still under negotiation, and you already let him go because you scared of a money trail.
No, no. They let him go because they thought they had a dude that was gonna come in there and be quiet. That's what they thought was gonna happen. They thought that Ed Reed was gonna come in and say, "Oh yeah, the building's full of garbage. I'm not gonna say anything. We're gonna just get it together." And when Ed Reed sounded the alarm, they was like, "Uh-oh, somebody turn the light on. Somebody turn the light on. Look what we doing over here, Bethune-Cookman." That makes no listen to me. They're having all these rallies on the campus right now. People are demanding. The football team is demanding that they hire, actually finish the hiring process with Ed Reed. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. This is one of those things you can't walk back from. Bethune-Cookman would have to explain where the money is, and that you can't tell me that they're getting. That's a D1 school. They're getting money.
Let me look up the admission.
All those students on campus. Where's that money at, man? They ought to be ashamed of themselves. And for everybody that's listening that had a take on Deion, please explain that to me. I want you to tag Bethune like that. I want that same energy. Because in my book, if you're telling me that Deion wasn't swag as he brought his sons down there and brought exposure to the entire swag, gave back half of his salary. If he wasn't swag, who are the people that is stealing from the swag? What are they? Tell me what they are.
So I just want y'all to listen. Bethune-Cookman, for to live there, to go to school there with 12 to 18 hours for fall and spring, the total just for school is $13,844. Room and board, gold plus whatever that is, books and supplies, personal expenses, transportation, all that. The grand total of direct costs and indirect costs is $31,040. My thing is this: where is the money for my? If I was a student there, even if I'm on a full ride or not, well, I don't want to say full ride because you know that's your personal business. But if you were paying out of pocket, if you got a Parent Plus loan, I would be knocking at financial aid's door like, "Hey, you taking my money?"
Everybody ain't on scholarship.
What?
Everybody ain't on scholarship, but that's the problem. Those that's on scholarship is entitled to be going to football field and going up against people that have real facilities. Man, it's hard to do. I'm just telling you, the schools that succeed have sufficient weight programs. They got strength and conditioning coaches. Some of these facilities now in college are better than facilities in the NFL. But let's not get off the topic. My question is, where are the protectors of the SWAC? Because like when you used to watch Superman, they would say, this is a job for Superman. If the protectors of the SWAC, somebody needs to sound the radar. The bat signal, whatever you got to do, the SWAC should be, somebody got to say something. They talked about Deion on Facebook for 5 days straight. Then some people started saying, y'all act like he was coaching at y'all school. He wasn't even y'all coach. Where are these people on Bethune-Cookman? Yeah, chime in, please. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
I listen.
I'm waiting.
I have no words.
You had a lot to say, bro.
I have no words. But I mean, if we're gonna call out swag, it's Southern, the Jaguars, Prairie View, the Panthers, the illustrious Alcorn State University, the Braves, Mississippi Valley State, the Devils, Alabama State, the Hornets, Alabama A&M, the Bulldogs, Grambling State, go Tigers, Arkansas Pine Bluff, the Golden Lions, Jackson State, the Tigers, Florida A&M, the Rattlers, Texas Southern Tigers.
Bethune-Cookman, the Thieves.
I'm not even going.
The Desperados. The Bethune Cookman. The Bethune Cookman Desperados. The Bethune Cookman Jackers. Stole the people money. They got to be shaming themselves, man.
Well, listen. My thing is with when it came back to Ed Reed's spiel that he gave the students, but he got so heartfelt. Dion chimed in on live and was just saying, I catch a flight. I believe that they are genuinely personal friends. But my thing is, as a member, well, as an alum of an HBCU, I understand the pride we have with our HBCUs. But we all know financial aid ain't doing what it's supposed to do, and especially when a someone whose ink never dried or was even drew up is saying, hey, there is an issue, we need to talk about it, and they're willing to let go of an actual educator versus fixing the problem, something ain't right. Something ain't right. And I really need the students, whether you're an alum, whether you go there now, I really think y'all should start asking the right questions. Reach out to the media. I really think you need to press hard on Bethune-Cookman, because my thing is we need some actual investigation. Because we can't say call on swag, call on swag. We need to start calling news stations. We need to get it up to Don Lemon and them. Like, really push the agenda, because that's ridiculous.
Let me tell you something. And this is what I know for sure. Because of the way that Ed Reed sounded the alarm, I saw the interview on Roland Martin. This has been on CNN. Like, they know. The problem is, what's going to happen? What exactly are they going to do? I mean, Bethune-Cookman, they took the money.
They took the money. They closed down buildings and filled it full of stuff. I mean, I don't want to call it trash because I don't know what's in the buildings. But my problem is, if you got these facilities that are able to be used, use them. Especially when you got students that actually need them.
They were all the envelopes that the tuition came in.
What, bro? I'm not finna play with you, bro. I'm not. And I can't sit, like I said, I can't sit here and hound on Bethune-Cookman just because they shine light on it. It's a lot of schools, regardless if it's a PWI, HBCU, that need to be investigated, especially with HBCUs, because we don't get enough light as is.
I'm going to tell you this. I agree with your fight, Sister Soldier, but I'm telling you right now who needs to be investigated. The Bethune-Cookman Desperados.
Enough of the Desperados. But just like during the election, when I think it was University of Georgia had so much to say about the out of state students trying to vote. My thing is, don't wait until it's the last minute to say something. Right now, all students need to rise up together, SWAC or not, and say, hey, there's unfair treatment at my school too. Or, hey, I'm paying all this money, but I don't see where it's going. Because I've taken college tours, I've been to other universities, and even at my own university, there's some leaky pipes, some moldy walls. Like, we need to say something. I feel like you use what you got right now to get what you want. He's mouthing Desperados.
No, I'm not.
You're such a jive turkey, bro.
No, I'm not. So we're clear. Starting for Black History Month, No Apologies, a podcast will be a visual podcast, and it will be recorded by Square Vision, which is our marketing team. Yeah, marketing and media. Like, that's the squad. So I think that's the what's that? February 4th will be the first week of debate. We'll be speaking about reparations, because we didn't get a chance to really go into my economic plan, but we will. And you guys also, because of the interview with Gregory Hoyt, Monet wasn't there for her take, but once we get to the radio station, Monet will be there. There's a panel of very, very intelligent people on the enlightenment of the mind. So I'm very excited about that. We also are involved with Square Vision with shooting a doc series on the city of Montebello. The project is scheduled to be released in June, but we will keep you guys updated about that. Also, Gregory Hoyt from The Breakdown will be flying out here late March, early April for us to have a sit down face to face interview and not only discuss the ethical and implementing of reparations, the history of reparations, but also we're definitely going to dig into this whole thing with Joe Biden and the 55 billion to Africa for slavery reparations. It's really getting hard to say you're a Republican and not be racist, but it's also getting hard to say, hey, I'm a Democrat because they're for me, because that's not the case. And we really need to start looking at, what are our options?
And that's true. That's the sticky part. And I'm really not one to talk politics, but when it comes to accountability and which side, it's like Casey said, it was a long time ago. It's not about who's in your circle, it's about who's in your corner. We need people that are going to rally for us. And I saw a TikTok not too long ago where they were talking about the ages of everyone that's in Congress, the House of Representatives that are actually making the choices that affect us daily. And I feel like we need to do it like the sheriff. There needs to be an actual election for each person. You can't sit there for 8, 9, 10 years and just keep making stuff up, because you're going to go from, oh, that father that wants the best for his child to, oh, the grandfather that wants the best for his grandchildren, to a stubborn old person. That I feel like that's what's going on now. People are stuck in their ways, and that's why we can't move forward. All right, guys, before we close out, we always end it on mindfulness and a small quote and a short conversation. Just things, because every day has its own challenges. But the quote for today is, the distance you kept during my struggle, I'm going to need you to double it during my success. So like I said, it's not about who's in your circle, it's who's in your corner. There's a lot of people that are silent when you're not doing as well as them. It's a lot of people that are your buddy. It's a lot of people that smile in your face when they see you doing bad. But as soon as things start to get better, you see how less the phone rings, and how many people have some outlandish comments and questions. Do you know what I'm saying? Just keep the same energy. If you didn't believe me then, even though I'm showing you now, still keep the same energy. Keep your distance.
Yeah, I really believe that wifey is talking to you people who kept saying this little show and your little show and blah blah blah. Didn't support it, didn't watch it, didn't subscribe, didn't like it, didn't comment. It is what it is. I believe that that's a good thing. I got off cheap. For those who don't support, who didn't support, that's cool. I really don't care like that, because as you can see, we doing all right. We got a doc series we're working on. Be on the radio. Got a podcast. I got a little son. Good.
Well, yeah, I mean, Casey's just being nice, but I guess because it was long nights of editing and us talking about it, and so many people that threw so much hate our way. And I didn't bring up that quote to say that, but it, as of right now in our lives, it fits best, because it was so many people that said, our little show, and don't send this to me, and stop sending this to me every week. Nobody's going to watch it. And the crazy part is, I have thousands of so-called close friends and family that follow me on Facebook, but they wouldn't subscribe to our channel. And it's not a knock on them. It's just, when you want to support somebody, I mean, you could probably tell me what type of toothpaste Beyonce uses, but you won't follow your niece or support your cousin. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of what you're going through right now, remember, it's somebody that doesn't want to see you shine. So regardless of how long and how hard you work on it, make sure you keep pushing, because there's people that are counting on you to fail. And that's all we got today. And remember, you said what you said, so stand on it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys have a great night.